Hey guys, this is TL Breezy or Trev with Streamers Become Human. This is going to be kind of a different video up on the channel. This is going to be a kind of wish list or review, I guess, of a game that I'm really into. And we may do other videos like this on the channel, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, if that's your kind of thing, then stick around. So, first let's talk about what was present in World. World had much simpler mechanics than previous Monster Hunter games, which was good, as it allowed newer players that got into the series with World to not feel overwhelmed. The simplified mechanics being armor skills, some slight gameplay tweaks, and an overall easier difficulty. World also had a small variety of monsters on launch, which was later expanded on with the free DLC title updates. Now, while this made it easier for newer players to learn each individual monster, the returning players were out of a challenge. That was until the first expansion for World came out, which was Iceborne. Iceborne added the Master Rank difficulty to the game, which was the G rank equivalent for veteran players, along with an overhaul of new and returning monsters, while keeping the free DLC title updates. World also had some amazing crossovers from other games such as Devil May Cry, The Witcher, Resident Evil, and Final Fantasy, just to name a few. Now, with all these positives that I just listed off about World, there are also going to be, well, I wouldn't call them negatives per se, but things that could have been improved on. Things like monster variety, difficulty, and certain gameplay mechanics. Any new player may not know this, but before World, the Monster Hunter games had quite a variety of monsters. And any returning player will know this, but Leviathans did not make it into the game. Leviathans were monsters like Lagiacrus, Agnactor, Nibblesnarf, Gobul, and Mitsune. World currently only really has Piscine, Brute, and Flying Wyverns. However, that is due to the lack of underwater combat. Okay, now I'm going to say something kind of controversial here, and something that not everyone will agree with. I didn't think the underwater combat was bad. I actually found it quite refreshing, as land monsters usually fought the same way every time. Underwater combat was you really coming into the monster's territory and having to play differently, due to the weapons functioning underwater slightly varying. Now, I know not everyone will agree with me here, however, they took out underwater combat and look what we ended up with. A ton of anticlimactic land fights from monsters like Gyarados and Lavasioth, and a ton of annoying aerial monsters who refuse to land. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Azure Rathalos. This wouldn't have been such a problem if flash pods didn't get nerfed, but it is what it is.
We need the Dragon Razor ready now.
Okay, what do I want going forward with the Monster Hunter series? First off, a way to bring back underwater combat and make it less quote-unquote bad for the whiny veterans. Second, bring back the negative skills on decorations. I feel in World, it's way too easy to stack hella skills on a set because there is no drawback to having 7 attack jewels on a set. Third, remove the Clutch Claw entirely. I'll be honest with you, in my 2,000 some odd hours of Monster Hunter, I've only ever used the claw for the tutorial of it. Fourth, a difficulty increase. So, older players will remember that if you got hit by Barroth mud, you were put into a mud snowman, which required you to take a cleanse potion or have a teammate hit you to break you free. Removing this mechanic makes easier fights of Barroth and Gyarados, and honestly they become a complete joke. Lastly, more of an effort with the weapon designs. I feel a lot of players will agree with me here, but a ton of the weapons in World look like someone just discovered copy and paste and did that with all the weapons, but modified one slight difference. The true end game of Monster Hunter is fashion. You can argue with me here all you want, but it's the truth. And I'm really not going to be motivated to fight 20 Val Hazaks so that its weapon can just be a bone weapon with one small detail changed.
It's real.
So my final thoughts on Monster Hunter World are that it's a great way to get more people into a series that wasn't really super popular in the West, but they sort of took the one step forward, two steps backwards approach with the changes they made in World. If Capcom adds or changes anything in the next installment of the series with anything that was mentioned in this video, I think it would drastically improve the game. Monster Hunter World kind of felt like it was babying you way too much, and it didn't really become a true quote-unquote Monster Hunter game until the Iceborne expansion. And don't get me wrong here, I've been a fan of the series since Tri for the original Wii. And remember, these aren't really complaints, but more so things on a Monster Hunter wish list that I have. Guys, there's been something that's been bugging me for a while since Iceborne came out. If Iceborne was all about ice and, you know, the Hoarfrost Reach, then why didn't they just add Jade Barroth? I feel like it would have been a easy thing to add. Where was he? Where was he, Capcom?